A very good evening and thanks for clicking on to the Wednesday edition of Logan's European Outlook. I'm still in the truck. Normally I would be home by now and I would be having a couple of days uh, rest, but unfortunately that trip to the Netherlands eventually took me into Belgium and came out of Belgium through France, the Eurotunnel, and up. I'm actually parked up now in Yorkshire tonight. But long story short, I was actually stuck at the port of Rotterdam for about 24 hours because I wasn't getting cleared from customs due to an error in paperwork. So, bit of a nightmare actually, and glutton for punishment here. I'm going back again this weekend. My choice. I'm not complaining about it in any way, shape, or form. Certainly hope it doesn't repeat itself again next week. But quite an interesting first driving experience in both the Netherlands and Belgium over the last few days. Left Belgium this morning at 10 to 4. Got the Eurotunnel, and then like I say, I'm up close to Scotch Corner this evening. 9 hours off, and then probably about 2 o'clock tomorrow morning, I'll hit the road and make this delivery at in Livingston, and then up to home. Anyway, don't want to bore you too much more with that. Trying to talk a wee bit more about myself as well as weather, just to kind of mix these videos up. When you're just talking constantly about weather, it can get a bit monotonous. So, trying to add a wee bit more of a kind of personal touch, so you folks on the other end watching can kind of slightly get to know me a wee bit better. But interesting weather things to talk about, by the way. I'm not. I kind of looked at the JFS 500 millibar height anomaly chart. This is, of course, the hemispheric view looking down over the pole, and it's quite interesting how in recent videos I've been talking about high pressure kind of in a sense pulsating and trying to lift northwards as we go forward here, and even the potential for a kind of linking up, hooking up of region over Siberia. That's the fridge kicking in, so I do apologise if that's annoying in the background. Um, the possibility of region trying to kind of meet, one coming out of Siberia towards the pole, the other one coming out of Canada towards the pole, and they kind of merge. And that is happening, and what is catching my attention is that it's helping create this very highly amplified upper level pattern. Of course, you'll have noticed the weather over the British Isles fairly stagnant, nothing moving along particularly quickly west to east. This could all be a byproduct of the easterly QBO that we've not had since 2018, with the winds blowing from east to west as opposed to west to east over the tropics. This could be helping allow this kind of build up of pressure mid and high latitudes. And the point that I'm trying to make here is the weather pattern now trying to show us where it's going as we head towards the cold season? And that's going to be the big question. But if you notice here, as I skip through, we've got region, Canada, extending over to the British Isles here. We've got a little bit of troughiness over the Norwegian Sea. We've got also a trough further south over the Atlantic. As we skip through the loop here, you notice here that we start to amplify that ridge and strengthen that ridge of high pressure over the north shore of Hudson Bay, extending into the Baffin Straits. What that's doing is it's helping force the trough east of Canada and the United States. It's helping it kind of deepen and shift slightly further east. That in turn is pushing high pressure into the UK once again here. It's splitting the ridge that was initially and currently in place, linked up between Canada and the UK. That's split, and you notice here that what happens is eventually that deepens. So the strengthening of the high pressure over Canada deepens the trough and the low pressure over the Atlantic. and then eventually the whole thing shifts over. If I skip back very quickly, you notice here that the trough further east, or should I say really further north, of Scandinavia over Svalbard, and the trough and the low pressure this west of the British Isles links up, hooks up, and what's happening with that is becoming a lot more. It's forcing these big undulations in the high and the low pressure, forcing the jet way up into the Arctic, back down again, and you're noticing that we're not getting the classic west to east flow, low pressure one after the other, moving across the Atlantic into the UK. We're not getting that. We're getting these slow moving systems that are kind of weakening, they're strengthening, and they're moving along gradually west to east here. And while all that's taking place, it's asking me the question that what is going on further north. So we're looking at how strong that area of high pressure is over the north portion of North America. As we skip through, that is putting pressure on the atmosphere downstream. It's also putting pressure on the trough. We're seeing a big, large complex of low pressure extending from the east shores of Greenland, UK, Scandinavia, up and towards the Arctic region. Notice here on the Siberian side, we're starting to see that ridge poke its nose up. Eventually, if you watch closely, the two ridges connect up. So we've got the strong ridge of high pressure over northern Canada, one other high pressure system over Siberia. They link up, and what that may be doing is helping slow down the zonal winds at 10 HPA way up in the stratosphere over the Arctic region. In essence, folks, this could be the reason, or part of the reason, why the polar vortex is expected to weaken significantly. The stratosphere is expected to warm significantly, and this could be a telltale sign of bigger things to come downstream as we head through the month of November here. What I want to show you is this is the GFS 10 HPA temperature anomaly over the Arctic. So it's basically the same view as the previous chart of weather tidbits, but the globe is kind of turned towards the North Atlantic and Europe. As I skip through this, now bear in mind this is measuring temperature way up at the very top of the stratosphere, but notice the warming that we're seeing. The modelling is persistently showing this warmth and extending from Siberia over top of the pole into North America, into Greenland here. So there is a connection, I think, between the pattern at 500 millibars and the pattern away up at the top of the stratosphere. There's a lot going on, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens as we go further down the road here in terms of the potential for colder weather coming up. Whether it comes in the beginning of November, mid-November, late November, even into early December, that there is something going on in the atmosphere that could be indicating something very, very interesting, very exciting, very significant to come as we go forward here. So I'm tired. I'm sure you're tired listening to me. I'm going to head off for now, but I hope you enjoy what's left of your evening. As always, of course, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll be back in the next couple of days with more. Bye for now.